Hi, YouTube. So I am here to record the review for Scandal Season 5, Episode 14, titled I See You. Okay, so this week's episode wasn't like absolutely horrible compared to last week's episode. Shonda has still not redeemed herself, but I had a few, good moments in this episode that I was here for. Okay, so let's start with the whole title of the episode title, I See You, which centered around Jake and Olivia. So Olivia, she starts off the episode at her dad's house at dinner with Jake and his fiance. Now, she's talking about crepes and things, and we all know that Olivia could care less about a dessert or a breakfast or whatever. She doesn't talk about minuscule things like that. Clearly she had a plan. So she's trying to basically buy time so that Huck and Quinn can go into Jake's apartment, set up some cameras so Olivia can watch Jake. Kind of funny because remember, when Jake first met Olivia, he was spending a lot of his time indoors spying on Olivia and watching her everyday move back and forth, back and forth. So the roles have reversed. Anywho, she's spying on Jake all episode. Um, and the fiance is explaining to her, the crack in her phone and how she had bumped into Jake and then coincidentally bumped into him again. And I don't know why Olivia didn't pick up on this, but as soon as she said that, I'm thinking, the same way he met you. So clearly, this is a setup. Whatever the case, Liv wasn't focused. She didn't even catch on to that at this point. Okay, so she goes home. She's watching him on tape and all this. He's watching him kiss his fiance, all this, and that. Now, the crazy part about it was that at one point he comes home and him and his fiance are about to get down with the get down. And all of a sudden, Jake, is kissing the girl and he stares directly into the camera like, I see you. I see you. We here, but we not really here. Like Rashida off Love and Hip Hop would say. But anyways, and so then Olivia hurries up and turns off the TV. Did you not know? That really bothered me because I feel like Olivia has not been smart for a very long time because Jake was one of the top spies in V613. He was the head spy at one point because your father trusted him to basically be his right-hand man. So don't you think that he knows just as much, if not more, than Huck and Quinn? Now, Quinn's really not going to know because she's not true B613, but Huck is. So why in the world would you have them go and hide cameras in, those fire alarm things, like smoke detectors? What in the world? Did you not think he would find that? So he brings the whole package to the house. And I'm thinking, you was gonna have to spend some more money if you wanted to spy on him. Whatever the case, he says, knock it off. He's trying to convince Liv, no, I love her because she's a normal person and she reads Vogue and all this and that. And I'm like, Jake, you're lying, okay? You're lying, okay? Your life is built off being a spy. I think that you actually like Olivia because, well, she used to have a real keen sense of investigating, and she was on a mission, but she quickly forgot about that. Anywho, so we know that there's a method to his madness, but she has yet to figure it out, and at this point she's considering letting it go. Okay, and then he even says, did you enjoy watching us? I'm like, Jake, get out of here, go somewhere. Okay, anyways, so Hollis Doyle, he's the billionaire that we know that helped to rig the election for Fitz. He comes back in this week's episode, and Mellie is talking about changing her environmental stance or something like that. So she's taking a meeting with Hollis. Liv told her not to. Mellie, she always kicks herself in the butt, so whatever. She did it anyway. Now, Mellie, this is Mellie's problem. She never just, does stuff, or she never strategizes, keeps it to herself, and then plays the power move. No, she always has to blab her mouth. So, Mellie, blabbing her mouth to Hollis, Hollis is saying all these, sexual innuendos, basically, well, if you don't want to work with me, maybe I'll go try to talk to Susan. Maybe I can get a little bit further up her skirt. And I'm like, he makes me sick, okay? He's so disrespectful. Anyways, so what's her face? Mellie doesn't want to do whatever he says, so then he decides to go meet with Susan. Susan is like it seems as if she's just saying exactly what he wants to hear. But then the president butts in and he says, Susan, you don't have to say that. You can be just straightforward and honest with him. You know what? We're done with this meeting with Hollis. He shuts the whole thing down. So then at this point, Susan snaps on him. This is after Hollis is not in the room anymore. She snaps on him and says, you don't speak for me. I can speak for myself. Blah, 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 blah. And then he says, excuse me, you do not talk to me like that in here, in his office. She said, well, where can I talk to you like that? Where can I yell at you? Where can I go crazy on you? Because you want to know what? In this room, I will respect you in this room. But outside of this room, I'm running my campaign, not you. So you shut your mouth. Basically. And I was like, what? Like, Susan has a little like umph to her. This is what we're like waiting for. Okay, so he I think he respected that too. So she basically straightened him out by snapping on him. Okay, so then Hollis goes back to Mellie. Mellie is telling him her whole game plan, how she's going to run her campaign, where she's going to announce it, the whole, her slogans, what she's running with as far as education, everything. And Hollis is just soaking it all up. Now, she knows, he's not even a good person at heart, so I don't understand why she's trusting him so much. Okay, so later on in the episode, which is not shocking at all of a sudden we see breaking news. Billionaire Hollis Doyle is running for president. And who does this remind you of? Donald Trump. Now, I know I am not the only person who thought that. Billionaire, okay, Donald Trump, and the way, his mannerisms, everything, and how he was just so, rah, rah, rah. It looked just like him. And they do kind of look similar. Now, Hollis looks better, I'm not gonna lie. But, he's basically, say, we're not gonna let refugees into America, all this stuff that kind of, lines up with Donald Trump. So I'm gonna be interested to see how Shonda is gonna move his storyline along. So that'll be interesting. Okay, so Mellie got played like a fiddle. Okay, now, Abby, let's focus on her. So Abby is suspicious of Cyrus this entire episode, and she wants to know what's going on with him as far as Governor Vargas. And she eventually finds out that he's working for Vargas to run the campaign. Well, that would be a conflict of interest since he is the current, right hand to the president. And so Abby is basically has Cyrus eating out of the palm of her hands, which that rarely ever happens. So Abby goes to Liv and she's like, I really want to say something and he really needs to lose his job and I can do his job. And Olivia's like, that much power is scary. And once you do that, you have to become a monster and there's no turning back. And eventually Abby's like, I'm ready. She goes to the president. She tells him, the president says, okay, prove yourself. You fire him. And she went in there and she fired him and she feels empowered. Now, me personally, I do not think that Abby is going to turn into a monster. Abby has way too much of a moral compass. There's no way. The type of moves that Cyrus would pull and getting people killed and blackmailing people and just having to be grimy and low down. I don't think that Abby's capable of doing that personally. So perhaps it's better that she's in that position because she's not as ruthless. But if you have to be ruthless in that position, I just don't see that happening for Abby. Okay. David Rosen, still weak between these two women. David Rosen is pitiful. Okay, let me see. Jake already confronted Liv. Huck is losing his mind this whole episode because him and Marcus are watching his son play soccer through this little feed that he has set up. And then he sees his ex-wife with a new guy, her boyfriend. And he's so paranoid that he's thinking, oh my gosh, this is a setup. This is probably a guy that I tortured in the past. So all this whole episode, he's trying to figure out where does he know this guy from, and if he has 6 toes and he's the guy that tortured him and maybe his family's in danger. Okay, so he goes and pretends to be somebody named Harry so that he can take the guy to the gas station and get gas or something. Or a battery, something like that. And then so Huck actually takes him to a location in the woods, and I guess he gives him something to knock him out to figure out to see if he has any deformations to show that he was tortured in some type of way. That way Huck would know who it was. Meanwhile, Quinn is going crazy. Quinn, Marcus, and Olivia, they're looking for Huck because they're like, Huck can kill somebody. So Marcus is lost. He was like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that Huck was a killer and he was trained by the government and somebody could have told me these things. I have no idea what's going on around here. Then Liv says, yeah, you do need to start telling him what's going on. So Liv is acting like she don't even care when they're out looking. And Quinn snaps on her. She says what we all have been thinking this whole time. And this part of the episode I was here for. I was actually looking forward to doing this review because I wanted to point out this part of the episode. So in this part of the episode, Quinn says, you know what? I'm getting sick and tired of you, Liv, okay? You've lost yourself. When I first started, when we were a family, it was Harrison and Abby and Huck and Quinn and Liv. We were a family. That's how we started off. And you said that you would like watch after all of us. You said we were gladiators. I admire you. I looked up to you. You were strong. You killed people with your words. Like you spit fire. You were somebody to like admire and want to be like at some point. And then everything just changed. And you became real selfish, went away to an island with Jake, just left us. You never check on any of us. You don't know about Huck and Javi or any of us. And then you go off with the president and still leave us behind. Now you get here and you act like you don't want to be here. So you know what? I'm sick and tired of you. Who are you? Who have you become? Will the real Olivia please stand up and come out of hiding? Seriously, I'm getting tired of this because I'm the one taking care of this and you need to give me an increase in pay. That's basically what Quinn was saying. Like, this is ridiculous. I'm trying with you, but you need to snap out of it. Then Liv snaps and she says, I was kidnapped, okay? I have a right to be selfish, da 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 da. And I'm like, Liv, are you serious? Like, are you the only person to go through something? I understand you were kidnapped, whatever. And I'm saying whatever because you're not the only one out of all the gladiators to go through something. And they've had your back several times. And while you were kidnapped, they were the ones that were working overtime trying to help to get you and to locate you and helping Jake trying to get you. Okay, but this entire time, Quinn has been kidnapped by Huck. He was pulling out her dang teeth and torturing her and cutting her and stuff. What's his face? Huck. He has like found his family, then lost his family. Then his little crazy man in his head got loose. He been out here killing people. He's been traumatized too, okay? Like Harrison has died because you just left them by the wayside. And it's like Abby was here taking care of all of them while you were gone. Abby has been through stuff at the White House herself. So you're not the only person that's went through things. And yet and still, the show still goes on. But care about them just the way that they care about you. Do your job just as they have been doing their job. They've gone through stuff, but they snapped out of it and they've committed to what they've signed up for. So commit. Commit to something. That is Olivia's problem. She doesn't commit to anything. So after this, Olivia, she's not acknowledging any of this. She goes and she like basically meets with Jake and she's like, you know what? I'm going to let it all go, and I'm happy for you, blah, blah, blah. Then flashbacks keep playing in her mind of how Jake met her, and she's convinced that the girl is a mark, and Jake has a bigger plan. Well, duh. Like, where is this smart, empowered, like, feisty, keen Olivia? What happened to her? Did they knock you out while you were gone? Did you get amnesia? Did you forget who you were altogether? Whatever the case, she figures that out. She wants to up the surveillance on Jake, and she's going to continue watching him. Anywho, please like, comment, subscribe, and I will be back next week to record another episode review for Scandal. Check me out at mrsblogaholic.com.